Hey everybody, welcome back to Chicago Reacts. I'm Zach, an actor here in Chicago, soon to be worldwide. And as always, on my left and your right, I am joined by none other than...
I'm Michael, everybody. I'm also an actor here in the city of Chicago. We are checking out modders have created the ultimate Cyberpunk 2077 by JuiceHead.
New creator alert.
Creator alert. I know it's gotten better, so I'm excited to see what modders have done to fix everything.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching this within 3 hours of it dropping, go check us out on Twitch. We should be streaming live. If we're not, give us a follow so you can catch us live the next time. Also, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything else, and leave a comment in that comment section down below. We'd love to know what you think about this creator, and if you like our reaction to it, and if there's anything else that they've done that you think we should check out. I'm excited to see this.
We can keep it going. Yeah, Cyberpunk and new creator, and
I revisited it a little while ago, and I still wasn't like
perfect. Yeah,
I still wasn't getting into it. So
I was maybe gonna play it actually on Twitch, because we do have it on the computer. So
maybe this will give us a good idea of what mods we need to add to make it more fun.
Perhaps.
Excellent. Let's dive into it. Shall we?
CD Projekt Red did not give up on Cyberpunk 2077. Many people thought they would. Some people...
They couldn't, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's...
Well, I mean, they could have just cut their losses, but...
Yeah, but, oh my God, there would have been lawsuits, all the returns on the Sony store, and, oh my God, no, they kind of had to.
I'm glad they kept with it, yeah.
I hoped they would.
I think we've seen that with other games that, you know... If they're given more time, they can actually improve and change people's minds.
Oh yeah.
But they've continued.
No Man's Sky. So
that's the main one I was thinking of. Yeah.
Updating and fixing their game for a year and a half now. But up until now, at least, there are still a ton of features they talked about in the marketing or even mentioned in past interviews that just never got added to the game. So though CDPR has been doing a pretty good job at fixing the bugginess problem, we have mods to fix the missing features problem. And at this point, modders have added in a majority of the highly requested features that were missing from Cyberpunk. Tons of that cut content.
Isn't that amazing that modders, just only given the code of the game and having that to work with, were able to basically give the audience, the world, what the original developers promised? Like, modders were able to do it independently by themselves.
Yeah,
and yet CD Projekt just dropped the ball on that. Like, that's so interesting to me.
Yeah.
But just think about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of time that people are putting in just to like fix a game that already has so much money in it.
Right, but and also it's like, why couldn't if independent modders with only the code for the game were able to put in the things that the company promised they would but just didn't? Like, that just screams, like, what was CD Projekt Red doing? What were they doing?
Yeah. Well, it might be more complex to get it into, like, for some, because they're also creating code that they want to be able to work seamlessly for Xbox, PlayStation, and the new generation console. So maybe there's some issue there.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Modders and programmers, let us know in the comment section down below. Is there any reasonable reason why they fix some of these things, or are they just dummies?
Give us any reason, reasonable or unreasonable.
Yeah.
Give us all your reasons.
Content that is now available as a completely free download, and as you can imagine, in this video I'm going to create what I think is the ultimate Cyberpunk with these mods. But before we create the perfect Cyberpunk, we have to fix a problem I have. Time and time again, I've been told by you and many other people while I'm on a podcast that I got some boring walls. My plain, undecorated white walls are not the best streamer or YouTuber setup, but today we're going to fix that. And that's thanks to today's video sponsor with Galaxy Lamps. The Galaxy Projector can literally transform an entire apartment, like it literally transformed my entire apartment. This is perfect for your bedroom, dorm, or even outdoors for getting the right mood. It has full-on app integration, meaning that you could choose from unlimited color options with an RGB dial, as well as control things like the rotation speed or even the strength and brightness. Because sometimes maybe you want it to be a little bit more low low-key, or other times you want it to be really lighting things up. But the app isn't required, you could use it on its own, and it even does have Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant support. As well as it has this really handy 3-stand system, so you can point it at the wall, the ceiling, or really wherever you want. So whether it be as a nightlight for parties or even just mood lighting, you can get 15% off your Galaxy projector with discount code JuiceHead, or use my link in the video description right now. Do you use the computer in Cyberpunk 2077? That one that sits in your apartment and just kind of there all the time? Okay, yeah, so they just added the new apartment DLC to it, so that makes it significantly more handy. But with mods, you could also get a free car DLC, as now you'll be able to not just buy apartments, but cars too with the virtual car dealer. This mod will add in a variety of new vehicles to purchase in a completely new section on your computer. And as you'll notice, several of these vehicles are
like, you really can only get one vehicle. I think it was like one car and a motorcycle. Oh. So like the list of like things you could drive was so low. And it was just like the first car that you get is pretty lame. Yeah.
Gotta work hard for that cash money. Gotta work hard for that.
And we want cool cars.
Cyberpunk Lambo.
But I wonder if they did anything to fix the driving too, because just the driving in general I found to be less than thrilling.
Less than thrill. Less than stellar.
I was like, meh. I put like 8 hours into the game. And I was like, meh.
Yeah, if you only put in 8 hours and then have no desire to revisit it, that's kind of...
Yeah. It's like, fine. It's fine. I guess other stuff was just more interesting to me.
Yeah.
They're not available in the game at all otherwise, the only way you can get them. And this is pretty nice in that it's a framework. Modders are adding in their own types of vehicles, so we'll hopefully have more vehicle packs in the future, making this even more useful. But okay, awesome. Now you have a few new cars on your computer, but that was really only a minor feature people are missing out on. A much bigger one is the ability to modify these cars. Car Modification Shop will add in a fully fledged vehicle customization system into Cyberpunk 2077, and this mod in particular is just awesome. There are 3 tiers of upgrades that you can choose from, and you could basically change everything.
Out of GTA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or this type of a shop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
That's about your really car, from acceleration to handling, and even just your overall power curve and gearing on certain vehicles.
Yeah, because it allows you to actually customize the car that you're using in the game, where it is actually like a personal experience to you. That's cool.
Yeah.
You can make cars absurdly fast with this, but it'll come at a cost. Some of these upgrades can get pretty expensive, but more importantly, why I like this one is it allows you to take some of the weaker or kind of forgettable cars and invest quite a bit of money into them to make them just really cool. Complete sleeper vehicles in Cyberpunk 2077. They'll not only be faster to drive, but you could also greatly improve the handling, which makes a lot of the driving in Cyberpunk more fun. No longer will you just be stuck with the Caliburn at the high end. Now you can pretty much make whatever car you want into something that is relevant throughout the entire game. Although, of course, if you do want to upgrade the Caliburn, you can take it from what is probably a supercar to more of a hypercar level of performance. So okay, cool. Now you have some new vehicles, they handle a bit better, they can even go a bit faster. How about some car chases? Vehicle combat will give enemies the ability to call in backup, just like the police normally can. Now when getting into combat, you will notice enemies calling for some reinforcements. And of course, if you kill them before that bar finishes filling, these reinforcements will never come. But considering you probably want a car chase, you should let those reinforcements come, and they'll show up in one or several vehicles. The more stars you get, the tougher the backup will be, and as you could probably imagine, as these enemies show up in their vehicles, if you jump in your vehicle, they will chase you down. And this mod even brings improvements to the AI of these car chases. This makes clearing those miscellaneous groups of enemies incredibly fun, because even if you take out most of the people at this little outpost, you might notice, oh, they called for backup and now there's a ton of vehicles chasing me. This will also apply to police, who will call in backup as well. Instead of cops just randomly spawning 5 feet behind you, they'll now show up in a proper police car and will chase you down. This mod has a lot of other features in addition to this, like giving you the ability.
It's like driving a little portable dumpster.
to actually shoot out the window while driving. This is probably most practical when just doing simple drive-bys, but technically as enemies are chasing you, you can try and shoot at them. Steering and shooting is very difficult though, but even further, it'll make it so some of the armored and bigger vehicles will have higher health. Vehicles won't just explode anymore, but perhaps most importantly, getting 4 stars with the cops in Cyberpunk now will make them a true and genuine threat. And these mods create just a more fun and nice gameplay loop, especially when it comes to vehicles. Jump on your computer, pick up some new cars, then you can take them to the shop to upgrade them, and then as you're playing the game, get into some epic car chases with your newly found and newly upgraded vehicles. Do you actually like seeing this on your screen all the time? Are you happy Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't have the ability to untrack quests? I'm guessing you said no, and I'm not really a fan of that either. And basically what this mod's going to do is let you untrack quests with the tap of a key, and even retrack them again if you want by hitting the same key, or you could just track them in your journal like you typically could. AI Netrunners Enhanced will turn Netrunners into almost mini bosses in Cyberpunk. This is how they should be, and really, based off the files, how they were almost intended to be by CDPR. Instead of just using overheat on you, Netrunners can now use a wide variety of different quick hacks to make your life horrible, like blinding you in the middle of combat when you're losing. And this even has a special optional feature where they can actually upload a quick hack to you that will just insta-kill you. And this all serves to make enemy Netrunners an actual threat rather than just a minor and forgettable nuisance. Street vendors will add in street vendors to Cyberpunk 2077. Another simple one that was actually the closest to being in the game out of most of the features in this video, because on the disc version of Cyberpunk, if you never updated the game, just put the disc into your PlayStation or Xbox and played it, you would actually have street vendors. That was a thing that technically CDPR patched out of the game with the original version. But now as you're walking around, you'll actually be able to purchase things from these vendors, but the mod's simple vendor expansion will
basic things that you would have expected to be in the game to begin with. Though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting how they took out the vendor thing. I wonder if that was something that was causing the bugs. It's gotta be it.
Yeah.
It's gotta be it.
Or it's just like too much processing power. So they're like, well, let's get rid of this.
Right.
Put the focus somewhere else.
Right.
Actually make all of the vendors in Cyberpunk far more useful. At its core, it's going to expand the number of items vendors can carry. And what this means is if you go to a vendor, they'll probably have what you're looking for. You're no longer going to have to do vendor hopping for that one specific mod or that one specific armor or clothing piece. Which really considering how rarely I use vendors to begin with, this just makes them a lot more useful and makes me use them a lot more consistently. Life path bonuses and gang corp traits is one of the heavier mods in this video. It'll make it so each gang and corp has their own set of strengths and really unique aspects to them, and you can conveniently see all of this just by scanning these enemies. These are faction appropriate. The Voodoo Boys, for example, are generally harder to hack now and even immune to ultimate hacks outright, so no more one-shotting Voodoo Boys, sorry. What this will do really is nudge you into certain playstyles against certain factions and enemy types, rather than them all just being nameless, faceless enemies where the same quick hacks or tactics in general work. You'll now have to put a bit more thought in. You'll have to think about what the best approach is, where some it's going to be running and gunning, others it might be sitting back and quick hacking. It'll also make it so you have certain buffs against certain factions.
What is quick hacking?
So quick hacking is like everyone is sort of a cyborg, so you can like hack into people's like if they have
watchdogs kind of.
Yeah, like I'm gonna hack into their eyes and shut their eyes off so they can't see anything, or I'm gonna hack into their I mean, you can quick hack into things around people and have it set stuff off so it's distracting.
So watchdogs.
I got in very basics of it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, that definitely helps me understand that.
Depending on the life path you choose, and that was just one of those aspects of this game that desperately needed more attention. So now if you're a street kid, you'll notice you do more damage against gang members, but are not as powerful against corpos, and that applies to all of the various life paths. Hide Your Gear is going to finally add in at least part of a transmog system into Cyberpunk 2077. You can now hide pieces of armor while still getting all of the benefits of that armor or clothing. This is actually partly based off a system CDPR is adding themselves themselves into the game. It was found in the files with patch 1.5, but not active, but then modders did expand on it and make it active. So depending on when you watch this video, it may have already come. It's likely coming with the 1.6 update. Third person has been one of the most controversial missing features for Cyberpunk 2077, and this mod is simply going to add it in. With patch 1.5, third person mode got several upgrades as the character movement and character display got some changes and really some upgrades. That makes this mod more usable than ever. And for me at least, I find myself mostly using first person, but from time to time, whether I be crossing the street, looking for a cinematic moment, or even just trying to peek around a corner, toggling on third person can be.
Or if you're trying to get your Commander Shepard on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you're trying to vibe like
well,
Shepard.
a different vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredibly helpful, and it's nice to have that option. The metro system is technically already in Cyberpunk, and this mod is literally just going to make it so those rails and stations found all throughout the city will actually have a purpose now. This one is incredibly well implemented. You'll actually have a hotkey and button to direct you to the closest station. There'll be maps in the stations showing where they are going, and overall you can just create a supremely cinematic experience. Night City is beautiful. A lot of people already didn't really use fast travel or avoided it at all costs. And this is really the only and the premier fast travel alternative mod that we have right now. So if you're looking to see more of Night City in an immersive way, this is pretty much the definitive download for you. And if you are interested in having a more immersive and hardcore experience in Cyberpunk 2077 overall, get subscribed. I'm actually working on a video looking at a mod list that will do just that. Otherwise, I think this actually gets you pretty perfect to kind of a good core Cyberpunk. It adds in a lot of those missing or highly desired features. And if anything, you could actually use this as a base to build off of or modify further and make a bit more your own or custom. Cyberpunk 2077 is a ton of fun. I have an absolute blast playing and experiencing this game, and hopefully this video helps to get a bit more enjoyment out of it. I think in particular some of those vehicle overhauls are a lot of fun. With that said, as always, again, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.
Yeah, cool.
That was cool. That was much more like sort of just informational, but it was fun to see a lot of the mods that people are going into and adjusting. And also it's helpful to know like what are some of the things that I've worked on. This video I think is actually a little bit older, so there's probably some updates even since this.
It's cool to see for a variety of reasons. Not only like obviously Michael and I just love getting new creators every now and then, but then also like it's a very interesting game because it's still very much a new game because of all the mods and because we haven't experienced its full potential yet. But also it's an old game. A lot of people have already left this game and don't necessarily plan on coming back, at least until it is perfected. So to see a channel that like is specializes in Cyberpunk 2077 content is really cool. And like these videos have a lot of views and everything like that. So
yeah, it's interesting to me. I feel like we are entering an age, not that it's all that new, but I feel like games have a longer lifespan than they used to.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen games like Minecraft,
Skyrim,
and GTA have very long lifespans. But I would say it probably, like, especially like the EA model of a new game that isn't that different every single year is less like popular than the same game with an exciting new DLC, and a new patch to upgrade like how things are looking, you know, which is essentially the same thing. It's just we're selling it for DLC price as opposed to the cost of a whole new game.
Right.
I do think it speaks to why game developers are willing to invest more time into a game. Cyberpunk is a year and a half old, maybe a little older than that.
Yeah.
Coming up on 2 years. I guess for the holidays this year, I think it will be 2 years. So I would I think maybe there's an element there of why people are or developers are willing to like invest the time into saying like, hey, let's make this game good. Because we shouldn't give up on it because games seem to have a longer lifespan.
Yeah, especially ones that have that big sandbox, like Grand Theft Auto, where you can. I mean, there are role-playing servers where you role-play as all this stuff. And Skyrim, has a very strong role-playing capacity. The only thing I would say is like right now that there's a, to me, Cyberpunk is Borderlands meets like a GTA type game. So to me, there's still not enough like role playing elements in this game to warrant it being a game that has the same lifespan as a Skyrim or as a Minecraft or as a. So I'm interested to see how long this goes, how much CD Projekt Red is going to push this game still. You know, if at some point they're going to work on another project, I don't know. We'll see. I am excited to see where Cyberpunk is, you know, even in a year from now. I've refrained from things like spoilers and whatnot because I do want to experience the game eventually. But part of me is kind of waiting until it's a more universally enjoyable experience. Not to say that there isn't stuff to enjoy in it now.
A lot of it has gotten there to the point where they're like, cool, this is like the game that we promised now.
Yeah.
But there's still some more they can improve on, and they might be looking towards DLCs. But I also believe they've moved towards the next Witcher. So.
Right. So,
hey, let us know what you think about this video. We always love it for, you know, when we're watching new stuff to get comments from y'all and feedback. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything else. And hey, go check us out on Twitch. We should be live right now if you're watching this within 3 hours of this video dropping. And if you do Zach and I a favor, go follow us on Instagram. Links are in the description down below. It's going to help us out with the project that we've got coming up. So with that said, I think we'll see you next time
on Chicago React.